Welcome, everyone, back to the Better Off Breakdown. This is a weekly show, or we try to make it weekly. We've been bad recently, where me, Matt, Joe, we just talk about all things sports that happened in now the past 2 weeks. And I think the thing that I wanted to start with is I want to pour one out for poor Jack Eichel. They are holding him hostage in Buffalo right now.
Well, there's a reason he hasn't played in forever. I mean, yeah, sure, he's injured, but also, I don't know. I think that they know he doesn't want to be there. They don't want him getting hurt, actually more hurt than he is, because they're going to try and trade him at the draft. They're not going to get enough for him. They're probably not going to trade him, and then he can be held hostage next year. For now, I don't feel bad for him because they're trying to, and Anders Bjork and him, very good friends. I don't know if you guys saw the video.
Oh, I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, they are very good friends, and it looks like
that's actually hysterical.
Absolute stoners together, or they have the IQ of 36 combined.
Or a combination of the two.
Yeah, or both.
Or both.
The club hockey special.
His time for the rest of this year won't be completely miserable.
He's got a buddy.
Losing, but he's got a buddy to lose with now.
It's like when I went on road trips with the hockey team and I knew I wasn't going to touch the ice, but it was at least fun because I got to hang out with the boys. I was this is a good time.
The boys to hang out with.
It's all about hanging with the boys, especially in the NHL.
That's a W for Eichel.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. They went to build mode 2.0 or rebuild mode because they were already in rebuild mode. But they're just trying to appease him. They're like, we got rid of everyone who can win us games, but have someone to smoke with.
It's I felt like Eichel after the deadline was like that meme where it's I think it's Squidward looking down from his house and it's SpongeBob and Patrick running around. It's gone. I mean, not that Lazar was a star, but gone. Just everyone's shipping him out.
Here's the bigger issues that I see with it. It's so hard to rebuild with Jack Eichel because he's so good, but they do not have enough around him to be.
There's actual expectations because they have a legit superstar, but there's nothing else. At least with Detroit and Ottawa the last couple of years, not that they haven't had good players. What's his name? Larkin. Larkin's a good player, but he's not Jack Eichel. You don't have expectations to win immediately. Whereas in Buffalo, you're Jack Eichel's sick. Okay, maybe we can make something out of this.
Yeah.
Jack Eichel is sick, but not sick enough for the way he plays. I'll be the one to say it. He's not Ovechkin, and Ovechkin's a great player. He backchecks. He'll put his life on the line for the team. Eichel backchecks sometimes. I see your face, Matt. Jack Eichel skates.
I didn't know if Ovi was known as a big back-checking guy.
No, but he does what he needs to for the team. Jack Eichel gets into the offensive zone, shoots or passes, and then gets off the ice on the back check.
Yeah. You're saying that now. Ovi didn't back check until he had Barry Trotz as a coach.
That's kind of what I was waiting for, yeah. I was waiting for that point. Career,
Ovechkin didn't come across his own blue line.
That's what I mean.
But also, he has the skill to back it up. I'm not saying Jack Eichel is bad, but he's not great enough to only play in one zone.
But he's only ever played on shit teams.
Again, you're saying that Ovechkin had Nicholas Backstrom, prime Mike Green, prime Alexander Semin. He had a team around him.
Eichel has had Taylor Hall and Jeff Skinner.
That's my point.
Oh, my God.
Hall has had 18 goals in the past 2 years.
To quote Don LaGreca from fucking Michael K. Show, Jeff Skinner could pick you up at the airport tomorrow and you'd have no idea who he is. I don't want to hear it. I'm not buying it.
It doesn't seem to me that Eichel is the leader that Buffalo needs in.
No, I agree with that.
I can give you that he's not the leader.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you cannot question him as a talented player. It's just there is nothing around him. And I'm done with people saying Taylor Hall is good. I'm a Devils fan. He won the Hart for us. He carried us to the playoffs 1 year. I am done with it. He has been on just losing franchises. And again, he is going to be a phenomenal second-line player in his career because he will have the skill of a first-liner, but he's a second-line player. People paid him $8 million. You do not pay Like, there's a quote from him where he's like, "Oh,
we get the rant. Let's go.
I don't want to be the main guy and stuff." You don't get paid $8 million to not be the main guy. What is that?
What about Jeff Skinner?
Yeah, what is Jeff Skinner's salary?
Jeff Skinner never said that, though.
No, that's true.
Put up 40 goals and tried to be the main guy.
And was like, yeah, I'll take
it. And then just had, like, I don't know, just lost all the talent. Taylor Hall.
I don't know. Like, what is that? I mean, I was a solid third-line player, but I would never come out and say, like, oh, I don't want to be the main guy. Like, yeah, I'd love to be. Yeah, like, I don't know how you come out and say that.
He was trying to sound humble, like he could fit in any team, like it's not all about him.
He should have said, I don't have to be the main guy.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
Said it was, like, just terrible. And so, again, it's been his whole career except 1 year with the Devils. 1 year with the Devils, he was phenomenal. He won the Hart. Like, he carried us to the playoffs. Other than that, I have never seen Taylor Hall take over a game, let alone a stretch of games where, like, his whole time in Edmonton, I forget, he might have put up 30 goals once with the Devils. The only year he put up 30 goals was when he won the Hart. Like, he has, like, 2 or 3 30-goal seasons, and he's supposed to be a goal scorer, which he's not. Like, I mean, I understand that NHL is not an accurate representation, but they have him listed as a sniper because that's what people think of him as, because he was a first overall pick who puts up a lot of points. He's a pass-first guy who is a puck-dominant player, so they need to put a specific player around him. Because playing with Eichel's also a puck-dominant player. He's more of a goal scorer, but he's a puck-dominant player, so having the two of them on a line was not working. And then who was Taylor Hall passing to in Buffalo? No one.
Traffic cones.
Because, again, he can't take over a game.
Fans that they picked out of the stands.
He's a good piece on a line, but he's not going to take over the game. And, again, that's going to be interesting in Boston because I don't see them breaking up Pasta, Bergeron, and Marchand, which they should, but they're not going to because I don't even know. Because if you put Hall on a line with Bergeron and Pasta, that'll actually work because Hall can carry the puck and pass the Pasta. Bergeron will play the
defense. Bergeron can make up for defense, yeah.
Yeah. And then Marchand will be on his own line with Krejci and Coyle or something.
Craig Smith.
And maybe someone will fucking score other than the first line.
Yeah, so last night I watched a little bit of it because Boston played Buffalo last night, actually. Anders Bjork had an assist. Shout out Anders Bjork. Taylor Hall also had an assist, and then it got taken from him, which kind of sucked because I was really excited that he got a point, but then he didn't. Yeah, I mean, so how they had it last night was they had the first line, same as it usually is, Pasta, Bergeron, Marchand. And then they had Hall, Krejci, and Craig Smith, which, I mean, seemed like it was going pretty well. It probably wouldn't be my first choice. I would, like you said, break it up and probably put either Smith on the first line because I think Krejci and Pasternak work pretty well together. Because I don't know. I think Marchand and Bergeron have just worked so well for so long together that I'm okay keeping them together.
You need Hall to be the puck dominant guy who's going to pass. Who is he going to pass to other than Pasta? Who's an elite?
Krejci, but also Krejci's also a passer, so that wouldn't really work. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, who
that's true.
Put him with? Because that's his role. Like, as much as people want to deny and say he's a superstar player, his role is a pass-first guy. Like, that's what he is. He's going to come across the line. And guess what? Honestly, put him on a line with a bona fide goal scorer, he could put up, I don't know, 60 assists. Like, it would be some
No, it'd be stupid. Like, yeah, I know what you mean.
He could do something like that. Even on the Devils, his Hart-winning season, where he was this dominant player who carried the line, he had less than 40 goals. Like, he had 40 goals. I mean, he had like 38, 39 goals and 60-ish assists.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Like, that's what I mean. Like, he's still a pass-first guy. And on the Devils, there was no one to pass to. He was passing to Kyle Palmieri, who put up 30. He was passing to rookie Nico Hischier. Like, there was no one really there for him to do anything with, and he still was able to do it because that was the 1 year he showed he can do that. I haven't seen him ever elevate his game.
I don't know if you've seen the stat. He's shooting at like 3%. It's disgusting. It's so bad.
They say shooting percentages even out. So But even at that, he's going to get to what, 10 goals?
It hasn't yet.
No, but I'm saying, like, if his shooting percentage was the NHL standard, which is considered 10%.
Like 10%, yeah.
Yeah, he's at what, 10 goals? Because if he's at 3% with 2 goals, he's at 10 or 11 goals with a 10 shooting percentage. Like, that's still not.
Hey, beggars can't be choosers. The Bruins need scoring like it's fucking.
I know,
water,
but that's
dude.
not
$8
$8 million production. I'm not saying it's a bad trade for you guys. I'm saying what Hall is so overrated.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Matt how he feels about the trade. Are you happy with it, especially that the Sabres are paying for half of him?
Yeah, I think that was huge because I mean,
it wouldn't have got Brewer-wise.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if you've looked at Boston's cap space, but it's gonna be a little bit of a tight squeeze. But I mean, yeah, I was happy with it mostly because I think it filled other holes, or not necessarily that one trade, but with the deadline as a whole, I was pretty happy with it because they needed a D man bad because everyone on D is hurt all the time. They got this Riley guy from Ottawa who's, I mean, he's not like he's not like a stud, he's not a first pairing guy, but I mean he's good enough. Yeah, like he's a healthy body who can put up assists.
Yeah, he'll be a third pairing guy.
Exactly what they need.
And he'll be top 4 as everyone's hurt.
I think there was some stat. He's like second or third in 5-on-5 assists for a defenseman this season or something like that. Again, playing for Ottawa, which is great. So I was happy with that.
I was gonna say, well, that's not a stat because Boston can't score 5-on-5, but
that's also a good point. Yeah. So hopefully that helps that. We'll see. It won't, but anyway. Then Lazar, I honestly haven't seen enough of him. From what I've heard, he should fit in pretty well. I mean, he took a penalty last night, so that's a good start, I guess. But I liked Bjork. They gave him a lot of chances to produce, and he hadn't to the level that they wanted him to, I guess. I mean, I didn't have anything against him personally, but I think for what they got back, like, say Hall not returns to his form that he won the Hart in, because no one's expecting that, or at least I'm not. But say he at least has an uptick in production from what he's done so far, which I hope he would, playing with real players. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with that, especially for what they gave up for him and that Buffalo's eating half his contract.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
That's the biggest thing with me, though, is as much as I said Taylor Hall is not as good as people think he is, you guys didn't pay for a first-line winger. You paid for a second-line winger. You gave
what I mean, yeah.
You gave up a potential NHLer. Like, Bjork still got potential, but, like, you know, it's been a little bit.
He's a good player, but he's not a stud.
And also his value is down because he hasn't done anything. And he gave up a second-round pick. It's not you didn't give up an A-list prospect. You didn't give up a first round. Like, again, like, you paid for a second liner, which is what I think he is. And
yeah, honestly, like there's nothing much different that I would have done with it. So.
But I don't think Buffalo got fleeced the same way that Buffalo got fleeced. Like, I don't know how much you guys have paid attention on Twitter. Everyone's like, oh, this is a terrible trade.
Yeah, everyone thinks Buffalo got screwed.
Had a no movement clause, so he wasn't leaving the East Division.
There wasn't much they could have done with him, really.
But then wanted Kyle Palmieri and Travis Zajac instead of Taylor Hall. So, like, as much as everyone wants to say Taylor Hall's a superstar, people picked Kyle Palmieri and Travis Zajac instead of Taylor Hall. And then, again, who else was he going to go to? He didn't want to go out west. So the Sabres got what they could for him. And if they held him for the rest of this year in purgatory and then lost him in free agency, what would other fans said? Like, hey, why didn't you
they're just numb at this point. They're like, whatever. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like, so I don't know. I think both teams did what they could.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Maybe we'll get Taylor Hall on here at some point. Ask him what he thinks.
Yeah, I think we're reaching out to him as we talk now.
Tweet at him. Yeah, just
tweet
at him.
I don't know if it's just because where I grew up, but Columbus getting rid of their captain, Foligno.
Yeah.
I always feel weird when teams trade.
Wait.
I don't know why.
Again?
Foligno?
No, it's just Foligno.
Foligno? I swear to God, I heard someone say Foligno.
The G is there, it's Foligno.
I hate this language. Okay, but yeah, I don't know. I always get a weird feeling whenever teams trade their captain.
Well, okay, so my thing with that is they weren't doing anything. They got a first-round pick for a third liner on the Leafs. He's going to be a solid third liner, but he's going to be a third liner on the Leafs. And you got a first-round pick for him. Like, you have to do that.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a free agent, and there's rumors he wants to come back to Columbus anyway. So
yeah, I saw those as well. He really likes it there, apparently.
I don't know. I think that's kind of worth it.
So wait. So is it a con job where they trade him until free agency and he comes right back?
Not a con job.
No, it benefits both teams.
Yeah, the Leafs want him for this playoff run. There's no guarantee. Like, they're not going to have the cap space to even re-sign him next year. Like, he's going to walk no matter what.
But if he can help now.
The Leafs are throwing everything at this run, and then they've lost the first 2 games after the trade deadline.
Yep, pretty much.
So that's all.
I can't
who else did they bring in? David Riddick?
To lose in. They're not. I want the Leafs to lose in the first round so bad. I want Carey Price to get back to 2015 Carey Price and just sweep the series because I could see it happening. But I don't think
there's nothing that makes me happy quite like the Leafs losing. Actually, that's not true. Schalke
what
losing.
I can see happening.
And Spurs losing, but you know.
What I could see happening is whoever comes out of the Canadian division just gets swept in the Final Four. Like, whoever comes out of it is getting swept in the Final Four because they're
so funny.
Not as good. And as much like Jack Campbell has 11 straight wins, Jack Campbell has been a backup in the NHL. And I'm not saying there's not good stories and guys don't get better. He's not 11-0 good. Like, the Leafs are just the best team in the North Division. Like, they have the best offense. They probably have the best defense. That's questionable with Montreal, but, like, that one's debatable. And they have solid enough goaltending. Like, they have the best team. They can win games 6-5 against Ottawa because even if Jack Campbell has a bad game, I really hope Austin Matthews, William Nylander,
because Ottawa needs help tying their skates,
can outscore the Senators. And then, they can play close games because they have a good enough defense to keep it in. They can always get that goal when they need it in the North Division. So, I don't know. And, again, I could just be hating on the North Division, and the Leafs might actually be good. But that's part of this season is we have no idea. From watching them, they don't look as good as the Capitals, Islanders, or Penguins. They don't look as good as Vegas or Colorado. And they don't look as good as Tampa, Carolina, or Florida. Now, Florida is a wild one because they normally choke.
Florida's sick this year.
They haven't. Like, this is what people have predicted Florida to be for the past 3-4 years.
Yeah, for like 5 years.
They actually
Not 5,
are doing,
actually, probably like 4.
But then, of course, the one year they put together.
Bobrovsky anymore.
What? What'd you say?
They're not playing Bobrovsky anymore, and look what happens.
No, they're playing him. He's playing good.
I thought they were mostly just riding Drieger.
Nope.
Okay, I thought they were just riding Drieger.
It's split 50-50, and both of them are playing very good. But
yeah, because I've seen that Drieger's numbers are sick.
Yeah, no. Again, both of them have very good numbers. But Ekblad gets injured.
All right, good catch.
So the 1 year that that they have all this, their number one defenseman gets hurt, and it is so hard to win in the playoffs without your number one D-man. Like, look at
he's season done, right? Like he's
he's done. He's done.
Yeah, okay.
But look at the year that Tampa got swept by Columbus, and everyone made fun of Tampa, like, oh, haha, like, you're the 1 seed. You were the.
Didn't they not have Hedman?
What? No, they didn't.
Didn't they not have Hedman?
They had him, but he was so obviously injured. He was playing at like 30%. Like, he could not move.
Yeah.
Was that?
Look at the
Sharks 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
I remember that because I bet the over
in
Game 4, and they pulled their goalie like 3 times for 3 empty netters. I was like, bang.
Yep.
Overhit on the 3rd empty net goal.
Hedman couldn't move, and that was that. And so then last year, I mean, not even last year, but whenever Erik Karlsson got hurt, look at what the Sharks have done since Erik Karlsson's got hurt. Like, they were in
they've been great.
Finals, and since their number one D-man got hurt, they are questionable if they're making the playoffs. I give Florida credit.
Shout out the terrible Sharks
for sticking with it, and like, they have looked good this year. In the playoffs, give me whoever they're going up against because they don't have their number one D-man. If it's Carolina, give me Carolina. If Florida somehow gets, if it's Tampa, obviously give me Tampa. If they somehow get the 1 seed, give me Nashville or Chicago. Like, I don't see them winning without Ekblad.
I think this There's more teams making it to the
Interesting
playoffs
point.
this year, right?
No, it's just 4 out of every division.
Oh, it's just 4.
Same amount.
Okay.
But
Okay. Would you rather Toronto get swept round 1 or Toronto make it out of the Canadian division and then figure out what the rest of the NHL is playing like this year and then get swept?
Oh, I'd rather them
wanna
get
get
swept in the
swept
first
round 1.
round for just the jokes because,
Yeah.
again, I think whoever's
'Cause
coming
it's
out of the Canadian
hysterical.
division is getting swept. So,
Plus, also, it's funnier for Leafs fans to be all psyched about this run, and then they literally don't even make it out of the easiest division. Like, that would be so funny.
Oh, it would be comical. And the only thing, unless they play Winnipeg or the Canadian, Edmonton to me is Toronto light. Like, they have a good offense, they have an open defense, and their goaltending's whatever. Like, they are the exact same team, but slightly worse. So I would have picked Toronto in that matchup. The Canadians or the Jets, they're both worse than Toronto, but they both have better goalies than Toronto. So that's my only hope for them losing in the North is if one of those goalies get hot. If Carey Price or Hellebuyck have a bad series, the Leafs are coming out of
Toronto's going to walk away with it. Yeah.
But
because Hellebuyck started pretty rough this year, didn't he? I know he's picked it back up, but he started not great.
His stats started rough. His defense was giving up the most odd man rushes.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's true.
Again, also nobody in the North Division wanted to play defense. They've at least figured that out. They're playing more defense now. The games aren't always ridiculous. So maybe they're getting ready for the playoffs. Maybe they realize, hey guys, we can't just play pond hockey. But I don't know. I still think they're the weakest division.
Is it set?
And that was our weekly North Division sucks rant brought to you by us.
Is it set which divisions play who in the Final Four?
No, so it's going to be based on a record of the person who comes out. So, let's just say the Knights come out, the 4 seed out of the North comes out, the 3 seed out of the East comes out, and the 2 seed comes out of the Central. The 3 and the 2 will play, and the 1 and the 4 will play. Obviously, if they're all the same seed, it'll be based on record. But I mean, no matter what, it's going to be based on record.
That's kind of cool, actually. I like that.
There's either no point in if they do pass this year, there's no point in doing divisions. They should just play everyone and just seed it 1 through.
No, I didn't think they'd do it past this. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're not going to.
I wouldn't do it past this year, but for this year, it's kind of an interesting change.
Yeah.
So who's coming out of each division for you guys? Let's hear it.
So in the East, give me the Islanders. In the Central, give me Tampa Bay. In the West, I got the Avs, and in the North, I have Toronto.
Matt?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much the ideal scenario, I think.
No,
at least the most likely.
In the Central, give me the Hurricanes. Give me the Hurricanes in the Central.
Oh, switching it up.
I was just gonna do them to be different. Well, that's annoying. All right, well, I'm gonna go with Tampa now, so I can at least say something different. I don't know. I'd like to see Boston pull it out. I don't think they're gonna do it, which sucks, but that's okay. You can't win every year. So yeah, probably
or any year from 2011.
Probably the Islanders. I just think their defense. I meant win in the playoffs in general, not win the Stanley Cup, but yeah, Canadian division. I can't go with Toronto out of good conscience, so I say give me Montreal. I think they can pull it together. Again, it depends on how Carey Price plays, but West, I think the Avs look sick. They look really good. I mean, Vegas could make a chance, but I think the Avs, and then that's all of them, right?
Yeah, that would be 4.
Lightning, Avs, Montreal, and then the Islanders.
Yep.
Yeah, I think most of our answers are
give me the Whalers to come back.
Similar.
Until you take the Flyers like you did a couple weeks ago.
Let me see how that went. I'm gonna say the surprise at the East is the Caps.
Really well.
It worked really well. The Caps are gonna be the surprise in the East.
The Caps are the surprise as the 1 seed.
Yep. The Caps coming out of the East. Tampa, just with The Florida situation
Shock the
right now,
world.
I don't think you can take Florida, so I'm going to have to go with Tampa. I'd love to see Carolina because I think Carolina's just a fun franchise. The
I don't want to talk about it.
The North's got to be Toronto for me. Just what they've done at the trade deadline, it hasn't quite come together in like their first 2 or 3 games since, but you got to give like the caliber of these players the benefit of the doubt that they're going to pull it together and figure something out. And then the West, I think the Avs have the advantage over the Knights. I like the Knights more. I'm a big Fleury fan, and I do think they turn up in the playoffs, which I think will be fun, but I think the Avs are probably going to squeak it out.
I feel like I also should clarify, I'm not rooting for Montreal to come out. I'd rather they didn't. I don't want to see either them or Toronto, but I don't know. It wouldn't shock me if they did.
Give me Ottawa to make it out of the North.
No, I'd rather like Winnipeg or Edmonton or something. But like,
Edmonton would be fun.
That's what Edmonton I mean. Like, I don't want Montreal. It would to see McDavid in the playoffs. They'd get stomped because Mike Smith and Mikko Koskinen wouldn't know which net was theirs.
Mike Smith would finally realize he's Mike Smith, not have a .920 save percentage, and give up some shitter goal that cost McDavid a playoff run.
Yeah, he'd have a 14 goals against. It'd be disgusting.
All right, is Buffalo mathematically eliminated yet?
Koskinen for wearing 19 as a goalie. Like, dude, you're a psycho.
Let me check.
Buffalo's mathematically an AHL team.
Let me check. No, well,
they're actually going to get relegated.
Well, again, Buffalo's not as bad as everyone says they are.
The Erie team is going to take their spot.
Promotion relegation. The AHL winner gets to trade with Buffalo.
Okay, so no, nobody's mathematically eliminated because there's still 20 games left, and Buffalo could conceivably get 40 points in 20 games, and that wouldn't put them in last in the East, but eventually they will be eliminated.
How many points are they back from
20 games?
fourth?
I'll get a Linus Ullmark tattoo on my
fourth?
ass.
They're only 23 points back of fourth.
So they've got to have
Buffalo
a plus.
Get hot.
Who's in fourth right now? Is it
Boston?
Boston is.
I think.
So they've got to
for God's
have a
sake,
17-point differential from Boston to make it in.
Yeah, but
Bro,
also
if the Bruins actually just collapse after getting Hall.
Especially because the Rangers are only 4 points back, so you have to then worry about the Rangers.
Honestly, I think the Rangers could make a run. The Rangers have been looking good.
And then the Flyers are still somehow only 6 points back. Like, they have been terrible, but they're somehow only 6 points back.
What's the Flyers' goal differential?
I can't get the image of Anders Bjork leading the Sabres to the playoffs out of my head.
For reference, the Devils, who are 10 points behind the Flyers, have a minus 32 goal differential. They have one worse goal differential than the Flyers, but are somehow 10 points back of them.
Oof, Flyers. Never a good look.
Disgusting.
Yeah, I think the Rangers can make a good run.
They could, and it's annoying.
I feel like we already bashed on the Flyers enough 2 weeks ago. We should leave them alone for a little bit.
It's basically gonna come down to Boston, I think. Like, I don't think
it's gonna be the Boston.
Right.
I don't think New York can play so exceptionally well to get 5 more points than Boston out of the last 20 games, but they can play well enough that if Boston starts shitting the bed. Yeah. If they slip at all, I think New York's going to be there.
It's going to come way...
Which they could.
The Rangers are not going on a 20-0 run. They're not going 15-5 even. Like, it's going to depend on whether or not the Bruins have just a pitiful record.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's going to be.
Which will depend entirely on if they can keep any of their D-men healthy and or if one of their 2 actual real goalies comes back soon, which Tuukka's supposed to on Thursday, tomorrow.
I'm so sick of Boston fans and Tuukka. Do you like him? Do you hate him? Figure it out.
Anyone with a brain likes him.
I have a signed jersey. I mean, I wasn't really, yeah.
That wasn't at you. That's just at Boston in general.
Injury, supposedly this week. Oh, yeah, no, it's ridiculous. It's insane. No, but he's supposed to come back this week, or by the time we post this 3 or 4 weeks ago. So, yeah, we'll see how he's doing. But honestly, the AHL guys have been playing well. So, I mean, I guess we'll kind of ride that however long they have to.
Yeah, okay. We got to finish this up. But I have one final point I want to make. Was Buffalo's losing
I look
streak
handsome
this
today? Oh.
year longer than their winning streak last year?
Yes.
It was?
Yeah.
Their winning streak.
Yeah.
Their winning streak was longer?
No, I'm saying
What
it was
winning
longer
streak?
than their winning streak.
Their
winning
won
streak
like
was like
14 games in a row last year.
Yeah, they lost 18.
Yeah,
Okay.
they lost 18.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
It evens
With-
out
yeah.
in Buffalo. It always
Per
evens out.
sources is bad.
Well, it doesn't
yeah,
even
per
out.
sources,
They
that's
had a
not
14-game winning streak and missed the playoffs.
You know, I was just having this conversation with my friend the other day.
Joe's blood pressure's
I would
rising. Don't hurt him.
love to be like being on the Sabres
Ooh,
would
look at me, I have
suck, but it
friends.
would be such a fun team to play for in Buffalo. Like being a pro athlete in Buffalo would be so fun, but being on the
No, it
Sabres would be
wouldn't.
so bad.
Because if you're on the Sabres, nobody cares or they dislike you.
They do care. I don't know the last time you went
There's
to
no one like,
Buffalo,
oh, man,
Joe.
I
No,
love the
but that's
Sabres right
I'm
now.
saying they either don't care who you are or they dislike you. I'm not saying Buffalo fans do not care because they care a lot. I'm saying they will either not know who you are because you just got called up from Rochester the other day, or they do not like you.
I think
Unless you're good. When you're good, they like you.
Yeah.
But
I
they're
think
not
that's
good,
that's a good way to end it. Oh God. Okay. Well, this was the breakdown.
This is the
presented by
tri-weekly
BettorOff.
Roundup.
Tri-weekly roundup. Matt, tell them all about us.
Well, basically, we're a lovely company that's devoted to getting you good sports betting information, which you probably thinking, I don't want it come up with by you guys because you're all morons. Well, that's good because it's actually a lot of other people. So you get a whole lot of consensus, which is always nice. But yeah, it's a good time. Follow us on Twitter. Follow our individual Twitters because there's banger memes and me yelling about the Dortmund game, which they're playing today. So
We'll see.
let's go.
We'll have to see.
But yeah, no, it's a good time.
All right, Joe. Where can they
Again,
find us?
Follow us on the BettorOff app.
On the BettorOff app. And
Yeah,
where can they
true,
Follow us
find
on
the
BettorOff app.
Follow us on the BettorOff
Follow
app.
our people. So if you think we're all morons and have no idea what we're talking about, you can legitimately fade every single pick. No one is stopping you
Please
from
fade
fading
my
every
picks.
one of
I
our picks.
suck.
Fade
Please
all of
fade
us.
me. I'm terrible.
You can see our lifetime
Except
stats.
soccer. Actually, follow me on soccer. Fade me on everything else.
But the only way to fade us is to get on the BettorOff app. You will not be able to fade us if you're not on
Do
the
you
app.
like free money? Do you like free money? Just fade me.
Fade Matt, fade Joe, fade me. Find us on the App Store, the Google Play Store. Just search us BettorOff with an O. I think that's about it, gentlemen. Any last words? That sounds ominous, but anything else?
Aren't there two O's in BettorOff? Sorry.
Well, better with an O.
Anyway.
And then off with an O. So,
Yeah, I think most
better
people
off with
know off
two
is spelled
O's.
with O. I think our viewers or our listeners, whichever one they're viewing this on, I think they're smart enough to know how to spell off. I believe in them.
Yeah, I think Matt hates our viewers. I think he does. All right. We're going to close there before we get riots about Matt hating people. All right. Again, this has been The Breakdown presented by
Come at me with the
BettorOff.
smoke on Twitter.
I'm Harry. That's Matt and
I'm
that's
Joe.
Joe. They don't want to say bye.
Yeah, I put that together. I was waiting on that, but
Have a good one, everyone.
Wow, I was being polite. All right. Anyway, this is a shit
Yeah.
show.